how to make more sales without actually selling. I'm doing a lot of working out for those who know. I always thought I was good at squatting. I feel like a freaking machine, you know? And one day I nearly broke my back. And it made me realize something. After this event, like my uncle, which were like really good and involved in bodybuilding for most of his life, he's like, man, like this is just doing that thing. I was like, well, that's easier than I thought. And it made me realize something. The fact that whenever you got people already experienced a ton of things, they went through the difficult things and learned all those things, you got to just model what they're doing. And whenever you're able to model those things that are working for them, are you following me, guys? If I'm able to model the things that are already working, if I just implement the same things they're doing right now, I'm going to save a lot of time, trial and error, money to actually benefit and go faster. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what we're looking to do here. So I'm going to share with you that. How to make more sales without actually selling. There are multiple steps and we're going to follow what I just shared with you. Step number one is that you got to go look at leaders in your industry. What are they doing for marketing? So it depends on your industry, but let's say you're into internet marketing. You are, okay, like my goal is to get more customers to businesses. How can I do that? Well, one of the best things that you got to do first is that you got to go check out the leaders of your industry. Check out what they're doing, how they're structuring their offers, what hooks are they sending, how are they selling? Because they already had to figure out and test, okay, what message works the best, what hooks works the best, what is the offers that works the best, what resonates with people, what kind of stories, emotions, what triggers, what pains do you want to use? They already had to learn all those things to make it work for them. So you just gotta model what they're doing. Now be aware, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to tell you copy what they're doing. Copying is illegal and it's unethical. And marketing commandos, business commandos don't do that. What we do is that we model what they're doing. So modeling is, for example, you see an email that's working. You see an email, and that's something that you should do. Subscribe to all the newsletters and things that resonate with you. They work. So screenshot them, put them on a file. Like whenever you're trying to build a sales message, you go back to that file and like, oh, those are files of things that worked on me or on other people. And I'm going to use that to create my sales message. Don't start with a blank page. That's the principles of swipe files, but I'm digressing. You go and you see that thing that is working on you. Now your goal is to reverse engineer what is working. Is it the fonts that are working with you? Is it the hook? What grabbed your attention? What is the wording? What is the word that grabbed your attention? And reverse engineer everything that's happening and reuse that into your own marketing message. You're just reverse engineering. For example, like if you see a sales page that's working really great, you say, okay, like I'm not going to copy and paste the video and the things, the stories that they got. I'm just going to say, okay, there is an headline here, there's a video, an order form here, then testimonials. Okay, I'm going to do the same formats. Then you can go even deeper. Like, why is that headline working? Oh, because they use that word and they focused on that pain. They talk to that audience. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, not with the same words, but just engineering those principles and seeing what's working and what's not. And then you basically use model, reverse engineer, and put it into your own stuff. That's step number one. When you go on step number two, that's actually what I just told you. You got to reverse engineer the hooks, sales message, and offers. We talked about this. We talked about the fact that there are three things that you got to know and that you need to make them great in every sales message. The hook, the story, so meaning what you're selling, and the offer. You got to have those three pieces working together. If not, the machine is not going to produce the final results that you want. You got to have a great hook, something that grabs your attention. That's, I would say, all of them are important, but put more attention on your hooks, more attention on the hooks. Because think about it. If you do not hook the attention of the person that you want to hook, they are not going to check out your sales message, even if it's extremely good. And they are not going to check out your incredible offer because you don't got their attentions. So what you got to do instead is that you got to focus on the hook. Oftentimes what I do is that I spend 50% to 80% of my time on hooks, like for example, headlines. If I'm writing a sales copy, I spend 50 to 80% of my time on making sure it's a great hook. Because, and I'm sure this is the same thing with you guys, like I'm pretty much sure I can ask you, and I'm sure you'd never, like pretty much never, like 99% of the time, you never read an entire sales copy. You just read like the headline, then maybe you watch the video and then you take a decision. Or maybe you watch the headline, maybe a few more bullet points, testimonials to be sure, and then you take action, but you never read the entire sales copy. So the hooks is the most important thing. Focus on that priority. So yes, you should model, but also you should apply it with your own secret sauce. So what does that mean? And it goes back to two principles: not copying, so meaning that you have your personality as well. So you got to make sure it shows itself in the copy that you're doing. For example, let's say you're like, you see that leader and you're modeling a person that's really blunt and really like direct. And maybe you're like not reserved, but more like subtle in the way you deliver things. Maybe you're like more, I don't like the word nice, but you get my point. You do not like have to copy their tone, because if you do, it's going to sound strange for you and strange for your audience, because they don't feel like it's the same person they're talking to, because they see you in two different scenarios and they see like, oh, like this is a totally different person. I don't believe him or her. So you got to make sure you have your own secret sauce, your personality to the copy, to the sales message that you got, to the offers, to the hooks again. And also it follows the other principles that you got to always be testing. That's the second thing I wanted to talk about in that point, because yes, processes are working and things like that are working. And the thing is that you got to start with that. So you copy, you reverse engineer the processes, and you start from there. Now, what you got to do is that's your base. That's your control. From there, you got to see and test out different things that maybe work better. And that's the way to improve, because you got to always be testing in marketing. Always, like, maybe you heard of split testing or A/B testing. That's exactly that thing. Exactly that thing. Always be testing like, okay, is this headline going to work better? No? Okay, we're going to get back to the control. Oh, this actually worked better. We're going to use that instead. You got to always test one variable at a time, because if not, you cannot see what actually made a difference. So, for example, you got two sales pages. Try different headlines on those sales pages, and you only test the headline. Maybe you try another time to, okay, like we keep that headline, but this time we're going to test out the bullet points. Okay, let's test out the bullet points then, but only one variable at a time. So you take the base that you reverse engineer, and from there you go back and you test out new things. Does that sound logical for you guys? Did you understand what I said to you right now? Well, if you didn't, if you want to go further in depth, I got a guide. Check out the Commandos Weekly Action Plan. That's a framework that I generate every week on the topics that we're talking today about. So today I talked about the process of reverse engineering and how to apply it with your own source. Well, I'm going to put out a little page on the internet that you can go in and actually have a checklist, having more detailed steps on how you should do that, where you should actually do more detailed steps on how you can apply this strategy. And instead, it works for 1 week, meaning that right now it has the one from last week, but each week I change it depending on the topic of today's episode. So if you want to have a detailed step-by-step process, because as I talked to you guys previously, if you do not implement the strategies that I'm talking to you about, what is the meaning of what we're doing right now? Like, you are like, oh yes, I'm smarter, but hey, you didn't apply the things. So make sure that you do apply this. Click the link that's on the Clubhouse. Click the link, gabrieljulié.com/action plan, gabrieljulié.com/action plan. Check it out. It's totally free. You just put it out, and I will give you access to the weekly action plan, so you can apply the things that we talk about, because it's the most important things.